listen, next year there's going to be a flu again. Next year there's going to be a cold again. There's going to be these things year after year after year. And having a strong immune system is one of the best things you can do, not just for viral infections, but any kind of infection, any kind of invader that is coming into your body that wants to cause harm. Having an efficient immune system that recognizes that and can go in there and quote unquote kill it, get rid of it, eliminate it, is what's going to have you stay healthy longer, and it's going to have you feel better overall.
Empowering you organically, delivering content you trust with results you love.
Welcome everyone, Empowering You Organically. I'm your host, Jonathan Hunsaker, joined by my co-host, TeriAnn and Jonathan.
Hey everyone.
So excited to be here with you. So happy that we are here after such a crazy year last year.
It was a crazy year.
It was very crazy, still kind of crazy. And that's actually going to be the topic that we want to talk about today. The most important thing that unfortunately is not being talked about, especially in the mainstream media, especially all over the internet, the one thing we should all be talking about right now, and that is your immune system, building your immune system, having a strong immune system, all the things that you can do to really protect yourself, protect your body. Now, no, this, it's not going to cure anything. It's not going to guarantee anything, but there's a lot of things that you can do that can really minimize the effects of any kind of virus, whether it's a cold virus, flu virus, coronavirus. Any of those viral infections can be minimized, even eliminated or prevented with a strong, efficient immune system.
Absolutely. And I think there's been an increased focus on our health over the last year as the world has faced coronavirus. And I think that people are talking more and more about health and natural health and ways that we can really fortify our bodies so that we don't have to be as concerned and worried about what happens to us if we do happen to come down with a virus or our body faces some type of struggle like that. The stronger we are, the healthier we are, the better chance we have of bouncing back faster, overcoming it, all of that.
Absolutely. And I know we did an episode or two last year where we talked about things to do to stay healthy. And this episode is really just focused on the immune system. I don't want to go too far down the path of specific for coronavirus or COVID-19, just immunity overall. Listen, yes, coronavirus is out and it's affecting everyone, but that hasn't stopped the common cold from happening. It hasn't stopped the flu from going around or anything like that. And listen, next year there's going to be a flu again. Next year there's going to be a cold again. There's going to be these things year after year after year. And having a strong immune system is one of the best things you can do, not just for viral infections, but any kind of infection, any kind of invader that is coming into your body that wants to cause harm. Having an efficient immune system that recognizes that and can go in there and quote unquote kill it, get rid of it, eliminate it, is what's going to have you stay healthy longer, and it's going to have you feel better overall. I mean, we all know when we get hit with the flu or the cold, I mean, it knocks some of us out for weeks, may knock you out for a few days. And again, just doing some of these precautionary measures that we're talking about and proactive measures that we're talking about today is really going to have you in a much healthier state.
Yeah. Well, and I don't know about the rest of you, but I know that 2020 was an emotional year as well. And we're learning more and more about the physical and emotional connection in the body as well. And while we're not here to talk about emotions today, I do want to point out the fact that a strong immune system not only helps us to bounce back when it comes to physical issues within our body, but also the immune system is the powerhouse of our body. It is the central hub to where our body just really does everything that it needs to be healthy. And the ties to emotional strength and wellness as well when it comes to our immune system is very strong. So I think both the benefits on the physical and the emotional side, and I think all of us need to be strong in both of those areas right now to overcome some of the uncertainty and the things that we're facing in the world right now.
Absolutely. So let's jump right into it. Some of the things that weaken your immune system the most, number one is sugar. Having a lot of sugar in your diet, it really weakens the body. It takes a lot, it gives you that high, right? And gives you all that energy, but then it weakens you afterwards. That insulin response that's going up and down can actually fatigue your body a lot more and have you more susceptible to different viruses, and just weakens your immune system overall. Another thing that weakens your immune system is not getting enough sleep, not resting enough. And that's tough right now. I mean, and the third one I'm about to talk about is there's a lot of stress going on. And when there's a lot of stress, oftentimes we turn to the sugar, we eat the sugar, we overeat, then we're not sleeping as well. We're going to bed late, we're waking up early. And so there's this whole compounding effect from stress to sugar to not sleeping as well. All of these things really affect our immune system. And then our nutrition overall affects our immune system. Eating processed foods, eating different things that your body doesn't recognize as much as food. Yes, it goes in. Yes, your body uses the caloric intake from it, but the nutrient density of it may not be giving your body what it needs to be strong and be healthy. And so nutrition, minimizing the amount of sugar, getting better sleep, minimizing the stress, adding more fiber to your diet, getting probiotics, and just more nutrient dense food overall is really going to have you have a stronger immune system overall.
What's the one thing that you need to be better at for your immune system right now? Because here's the thing, we talk about all those things and it sounds overwhelming. And sometimes it's just like one thing at a time that you can work on to make it better. And we're actually going to talk about one thing in particular on the podcast today. But out of that list you just listed, what's one thing that you could be better at right now?
The biggest thing for me, hands down, is sleep right now. Managing what time I go to sleep and then the quality of my sleep. And then I have 2 little girls that like to wake me up early as well. And so when I don't manage myself well in the evening on what time to go to bed, then I'm guaranteed to wake up early and not get as much rest as I know would have me functioning even better.
Yeah, I think sleep's so important. Sleep leads to all the decisions being easier the next day and the emotions staying regulated and all those things. For me, like there's been a lot of stress from the last year, particularly in the last few months. And so for me, like I could work on a lot of different things, but for me right now, it's down regulating my emotions. There's a lot of information around stress and how it impacts your immune system. And so for me, it's like, I've been doing a lot of meditating and breathing and I feel so much better. Just like pick one thing you can do today and work on. And I think that's super important. The other thing we want to talk about today, and really the biggest focus today, is also talking about vitamins and minerals and supplementation for your immune system. When we talk about nutrition, it's so huge when it comes to your immune system. Even if you are eating, and we've talked about this many, many times before, even if you are eating the best nutrition for your body that you possibly can, we just can't get all of the vitamins and minerals and the nutrients that we need in our body based on, the quality of our soil and where things are grown and the way things are grown and shipped places now and things like that. Things just lose their nutritional value. They don't have as much as they used to. And so another thing with our immune system is making sure that we have all of those vitamins and minerals and nutrients in our body to fortify our immune system.
Absolutely. And that's why we have a supplement company, right? Because we create supplements that help supplement the nutrients that we're not getting in our everyday diet. No matter how hard we try, we're generally going to fall short in one area or another, not for lack of effort. Sometimes, again, it's just the quality of food nowadays versus 50 years ago, 60, 70 years ago. So we talk about supplements. And one thing that we've received a lot of feedback on is an immunity supplement. Yes, we have our 7M Plus, which is our mushroom blend. Yes, that is great for your immune system. It's great for anti-aging. It's great for muscle repair. It does a lot of things. But I know that there's more that we can do. I mean, listen, your immune system is a complex system. There's a lot of different things that go into it. Specifically, we wanted to create something that was more effective for viral infections, mainly like the common cold, the flu, even different coronaviruses, just things that were really going to help our immune system when it comes to viral infections. So we did just that. We created a new product. It's called Immunity 3. I think you're absolutely going to love it. Let me tell you the 3 things that are in it, and then we'll talk a little bit more specifically about each one of those. So first and foremost, we have organic Camu. Camu has the highest density of vitamin C of any plant on the planet. So we often think of oranges as being high in vitamin C. Well, Camu is the highest of them all in vitamin C. This is really important because we know the benefits of vitamin C. We'll talk more about those in a minute. But what's most important is this is a whole food, and it's an organic whole food. So we're not doing a synthetic like ascorbic acid that you see in 99% of the vitamin C supplements out there. We're also going to talk about how you can't absorb 99% of that ascorbic acid that you're taking and why a whole food is that much better. The second ingredient that we have is 2 different types of zinc. Many of us know the benefits of zinc. We're going to talk more about that, but how that really helps your body prepare for when a viral infection comes in to be able to fight it off and even heal you once you've got it. The third ingredient is organic elderberry extract. To me, these are the 3 main powerhouses when it comes to being able to fight off a viral infection. And let me rephrase that, because I don't want to talk about it fighting it off. This isn't something that all of a sudden you're starting to feel sick, and so you go and you pop a whole bunch of it to hopefully fight it off. Yes, it will likely help some. But what's really important here is being proactive. And when you have these nutrients in your system in abundance beforehand, it prevents the severity of the symptoms that you get if you were to get a viral infection. So this is not to treat, this is not to fix, it's not to cure anything, but this is really going to help support a strong immune system. And again, the elderberry, zinc, and Camu are the top 3 powerhouses to allow you to do that. So let's talk a little bit more about Camu.
I want to go back really quickly to what he just said, because a lot of people in mainstream medicine and marketing of supplements and products now are reactive to situations instead of proactive. So it's like if you're going into a battle and you haven't prepared, then all of a sudden you're scrambling and fighting, and you're probably not going to win that battle. And so I really like what he just said. We talk a lot about supporting the immune system and preparing our immune system for whatever comes our way. This is one of those ways that you can do it, because chances are if you get to a point where you're getting really sick and you're all of a sudden now like, I love marketing now, like this product will make you feel better. No, what will make you feel better is if you've prepared for what's coming and you can bounce back more quickly. So I think it's really important to determine between supporting and preparing your immune system for what's coming, or being on that side of now all of a sudden I'm sick and I'm going to do everything I can to fight it. Chances are you're going to be a lot more sick, have a lot harder time bouncing back, and then your immune system's going to get weaker. The beautiful thing about getting viruses and being sick, we're also afraid of it. But if our immune system's strong, it's prepared, it's ready for what's coming, we're giving it beautiful ingredients like we're about to talk about now, it can actually strengthen your immune system more. Whereas if you haven't done that work to really fortify your immune system, then your immune system is going to come out weaker after you've been sick versus now it's stronger because it was already strong. It fought it off. You've prepared it for that battle. You're not just fighting last minute without preparation. A lot of times we think about the immune system as the thing that comes in last and helps you get better. It's actually the thing that we need to keep strong all the time and support all the time. It's an ongoing battle we fight with our nutrition, with our sleep, with our health, with these ingredients we're about to talk about, so that your immune system can fight whatever comes its way.
Well, I mean, our immune system is constantly fighting things every day, right? We all have cancer cells in our body every single day. And your immune system, for most of us, is fighting that off. Well, there's all kinds of viruses, there's all kinds of bacterias that are in us that are constantly a quote unquote threat to our body. And this is why managing your stress is so important, because when you get stressed out, that's your body's reaction, right? And so it inflames it and it's responding. That's your immune system responding, trying to get rid of that stress, that freak out, right? It's why sleep is so important, because that's your time to rebuild and it's time for your body to get healthy again. So when you're chronically stressed and you're freaking out and you're not sleeping enough and your body can't rebuild, what's left there then when you get a higher intake of a virus, right? Now your body has already been working so hard just to maintain that. Now this extra thing that comes in is just that little bit that took you over the top, right? And then that's when you really get sick. So that's why yes, you can have something that you can take when you start feeling a little bit ill. And yes, it might help your immune system a little bit be able to fight it off. But the most important thing is building it up strong so that your immune system is not working 24 hours a day and going haywire to fight off the stress and the lack of sleep and the lack of nutrients and all of that stuff. It's got all the fuel it needs so that there's extra in the tank when you come down with a cold or when you come down with the flu, that it just can pull from that reserve tank, fight it off. Maybe you're out for a day or two as opposed to a week or two, and you're right back at it again. So that's just kind of the concept here. And I'm not going to say that if you're listening to this right now and you're not feeling well, that Immunity 3 may not have you feel better. What I'm saying is the most effective route is the proactive route, and taking a couple Immunity 3s every single day to help build your immune system so that you're just prepared moving forward.
Absolutely. So let's talk about these 3 ingredients that we've put in here to really help build, support, and fortify the immune system. So Camu is a berry native to the Amazon rainforest. And while that sounds really remote, and it is, amazing things grow in the Amazon rainforest, but this superfood has been used for a long time to improve health. And right now it's very popular. In fact, you'll find it in some of our other supplements as well, because it's such a powerful ingredient. Camu is supposed to help in reducing chronic diseases because it has anti-inflammatory and antimicrobial properties, which are really important when it comes to things like our immune system being strong. It's similar to tart cranberries, and it's too acidic for most people to enjoy in its natural state unless you like things that are very tart, which a lot of people don't. So it's processed as an ingredient in blended juices or freeze dried into a powder that can be taken as a supplement. People can add it into their supplements, their smoothies, and things like that. So this is something you'll hear a lot about more and more because it's becoming so popular. It's such a powerful plant. One of the things about Camu that we already touched on is it's really high in vitamin C. It is one of the most concentrated, if not the most concentrated, natural food sources of vitamin C. And vitamin C in the Camu acts as a powerful antioxidant in your body and is vital for the health of your skin, first and foremost, and your immune system. So who doesn't want better and healthier skin? And who doesn't want a stronger immune system? Because it's so high in vitamin C content, Camu is also really powerful when it comes to anti-inflammatory properties as well. If we have chronic inflammation in our body has a hard time fighting off disease and infections that you may be getting and has a harder time bouncing back from those things.
Yep, absolutely. Some interesting side facts about our Camu. It's organic, of course, but we actually source it from Amazon John Easterling, Olivia Newton-John's husband, who helped us formulate our Ageless Brain supplement.
He's been on the podcast before.
He's been on the podcast before. We'll probably have him on again to talk about Camu even more. But these come straight from his farms down in Peru and in the Amazon rainforest, which is helping employ a lot of people down there, a lot of the locals, a lot of the natives down there. It's phenomenal. I love supporting him. I love knowing where our ingredients come from. I know who they're coming from. It's not grown in China. It's not grown in a lab. It's not, it's not all of these other things it could be. It's coming from a friend of ours, and I could get on a plane and go see exactly where Camu is coming from and know and trust that it's the cleanest, organic, highest potency Camu on the market. And trust me, I searched around. I didn't just say, oh, well, I know a guy who's got that. Let's call and get it from Amazon John. We searched around, and Amazon John's Camu came back as the most pure and highest concentration of vitamin C of any of the other organic Camus on the market. So it's nice to get that confirmation sometimes, a little pat on the back, that we are using the best people over and over again for multiple products. The other thing I really want to talk about for a second is the difference between ascorbic acid, right, which is a lab-created synthetic vitamin C, versus Camu, a whole food vitamin C, right? So you'll look on our supplement facts and you'll see that a dose of our Immunity 3 gives you 120% of the RDA, right? The recommended daily allowance of vitamin C. It's like 120%. I mean, yeah, that's that's all of it, but it's not a ton. I could buy this big bottle of vitamin C over here for $20 that has 1,000 milligrams of ascorbic acid per pill, and I get 2,000% RDA versus your 120%. This is a very important distinction, because what we have to look at is the bioavailability. What we have to look at is, can your body recognize that ingredients, that substance, that mineral, that botanical, whatever it is that you're taking in, can they recognize it as food? And then will it absorb it and use it the way that it should, or the way that it was designed to? You can, and we know this as a fact, right, for synthetic multivitamins like your Centrum Silvers and your other one-a-days, that a lot of times they just come out the other end still intact. And if it actually breaks down, your body doesn't even absorb it. It doesn't change your blood work. It doesn't change, like if you get your blood work prior to taking Centrum Silver for a couple months versus after, you're not going to see a difference in your vitamin levels, because your body doesn't recognize it as a food, and it doesn't absorb it. So while a label might say, hey, this vitamin C gives you 2,000% RDA, well, what if your body only absorbs 1% of that? Right? If your body only absorbs 1% of that, you're really only getting 20% of the RDA from that big vitamin C horse pill, versus if you were to take Camu, and let's say it's 120% RDA, your body's probably not absorbing all 100%, but it's likely getting the 80, 90% mark of it, because it's a whole food. Your body recognizes it, it's just going to digest it. And now if you're getting 80% of that 120%, now you're sitting around your 90, 95% RDA. You're almost getting all the vitamin C that your body needs from those 2 capsules. That's a big difference. It's a big thing to understand. And that's it makes it tough in the supplement space, because we could use synthetic ingredients and our label percentages would be phenomenal. They'd be through the roof, and everybody would look at it and be like, oh my gosh, I've got enough, vitamin C to last me the year if I take this one pill. But the reality is your body doesn't use it. Your body doesn't absorb it. And I have no desire to take myself or sell to you some crap that your body's not going to use, that you're not going to get a benefit from. That's why a whole food supplement is so important. That's why all of our supplements are whole food. And there just is no cutting corners. We're not just going to go and throw some cheap ascorbic acid in there for the sake of saying it has vitamin C.
Absolutely. So to put it in simple terms, whole food ingredients versus synthetic are really, really dangerous as far as how much money you're spending and the benefits you're getting out of them. You really want to know the quality of your supplement, where it's being sourced from. Is it real? Is it synthetic? I don't know about you, but I don't want to pay for a $60 bottle of supplements that's synthetic. I just see no value in that. And I also think it can damage your body. So
fun side fact, most synthetic vitamins and minerals come as an oil tar byproduct. So when they're extracting the oil out of the earth, they're able to extract these different vitamins out of the oil that's come out of the earth. And then, that fortified that you see on the side of cold cereal boxes, right? It's been fortified with vitamin A and vitamin this and vitamin that. It's just oil. It's an oil. They've extracted that vitamin out of the oil, out of the tar, right? And then infuse it into the cereal that they sell you to give to your kids as a healthy breakfast.
Yeah.
It's I'm sorry, but that'll start.
We could go on a tangent. Right, like,
Jesse
Itzler, he's got he's an amazing man in business and other things, but he challenges the cereal companies every day. You eat your cereal that you sell and tell me that it's healthy, and he cracks me up because it's not funny, but he's very he'll offer them 6 figures to do certain things, and no one's taken him up on it because he's they're so unhealthy. I don't know. I don't want to drink tar every morning, not literally, but figuratively by the supplements I take and the food that I eat. So just food for thought there. Just really quickly, a few other things, no pun intended.
I was going to say tar for thought, but go ahead.
Okay, so just a few other things about Camu. I mean, it's not just vitamin C. It provides potassium, calcium, zinc, magnesium, copper, polyphenols. And again, we talked about the antimicrobial benefits. It supports gut health. Gut health and immune system are so intertwined. We've talked about it on many podcasts before. They are so intertwined. And so not only do you have this incredible plant that's supporting you with the vitamin C side of things for your immune system, but also supporting your gut health. It can improve your liver health. And then like we talked about earlier, enhancing your mood, vitamin C, coming through the Camu, getting that extra dose of that can really boost your mood, which also boosts your immune system. The less stressed you are, the happier you are, the happier your immune system is. And there's research to back and prove that. So really, really good stuff there with Camu. Camu is not just a source of vitamin C, but it's got all these benefits that go along with it, and other things that come with it that really benefit your immune system.
Absolutely. Yeah, I mean, when we were talking about and formulating and figuring out what source for vitamin C to put in there, I mean, Camu just checked off so many boxes. That was the route to go.
Absolutely. Second ingredient we want to talk about today is zinc. And because your immune system, like we've talked about, is the first line of defense against all disease, especially infectious disease, and there's all these different ways to boost your immune system, zinc was the next thing we looked at. So critical when it comes to a strong immune system and warding off viral infections. There's just so many benefits to zinc, like Camu. We're going to talk about those today. So why did we choose to put zinc in there? Because it plays a lot of vital roles in your body, but your body doesn't naturally produce zinc. You have to obtain it through food or supplements. And so this is why it was critical when it came to formulating this product to have zinc in there. Zinc is the second most abundant trace mineral in your body after iron, and it's present in every cell. So think about how interesting like that is. Like your body doesn't naturally produce it, but it's present in every cell. So think, if I'm not getting enough of this in my body, what does that do to your body? It's critical for the development and function of immune cells. I'm going to say that again. It's critical. Zinc is critical for the development and function of your immune cells. We're talking about the immune system. It's fundamental to skin health, DNA synthesis, and protein production. Super important. It's important for body growth and development, for cell growth and division, and healthy cell growth and division, right? Because there's two sides to that conversation, right? And you want that healthy cell growth and division. You want that to be working normally in your body. When you see abnormal cell growth and division, then we're getting into things like cancer. Really, really, really important to have that healthy cell growth and division. Zinc is also needed for your senses of taste and smell. So, I mean, I learned some things in looking at zinc too that I actually didn't know. And so taste and smell, that's really important. So there's a lot of things that go into having zinc in your body and having enough of it in your body. And it's one of the reasons we have it in here.
It's absolutely vital. And most of you in the know about zinc, know about its efficacy when you're trying to fight off a cold, when you're trying to fight off the flu and getting it in there. A couple of things to note about zinc is you don't want to take too much zinc, right? It can start depleting your body of calcium and even iron. So it's why our zinc levels, again, we're putting, I believe it's 110%, 120% of the RDA of zinc that you need as well. And it's okay to go a little bit over, right? It's not like it's anything critical, but you don't want to over dose zinc, so to speak, and have too much of it, at least for a long period of time. It's not an issue if you're taking it for a short term, increasing your zinc dosage for a week while you're fighting it off. But in the long term, which is what we created Immunity 3 to be something you take every day of the year, right? Not just when you're feeling sick.
Preparation,
exactly.
Not reaction to sickness. And I want to also say there was actually a study done with zinc lozenges, just to kind of drive this home for you, where people who are having an episode with the common cold shortened the duration of their cold by up to 40%. So zinc, when it comes to the immune system in your body, now I'm not saying be reactionary and all of a sudden run out and get zinc because you're sick. This is exactly why we created this product, so that you can fortify your immune system along the way. And then when that common cold creeps in, Why is it so important? Well, your cells get attacked when you're sick, right? And here we're talking about how zinc supports healthy cell growth and division. And part of the process of keeping your body strong and healthy is that healthy cell growth and division, and your cells being strong and healthy so they can fight things off, right? So there's all this that plays into it. But just to really drive that home, people who are at risk for zinc deficiency are people who have issues like Crohn's disease, people with sickle cell anemia, people who are malnourished, people with chronic kidney disease, people who have alcohol abuse, pregnant and breastfeeding women. You have a huge risk at being deficient for zinc. So if you fall into those categories, really be mindful of your zinc intake, that you're getting enough to support you and your immune system.
Yep. Vegetarians, vegans.
Yep.
And I do eat meats, and even my latest blood work showed that I was deficient in zinc. And so
I think a lot of people are, quite frankly.
I think a lot of people are deficient in a lot of things if you're not testing for it. I think that we believe that the marketing on all of the things that we eat is giving us everything that we need. But then when you actually get the blood work done, you find out that you could be operating at a much more optimal level if you were supplementing some other things or eating some different foods or doing some stuff like that.
Well, and it goes back to the conversation that you had earlier about synthetic. A lot of foods, and especially processed foods, promise that you're going to get certain nutrients and vitamins in there, but chances are that they're synthetic. Chances are there's very minimal amounts in there. And that's why it's important, whether you're going to research for yourself, what kind of foods can I eat that contain zinc that boost my, my immune system, support my immune system, help my immune system, or you're going to supplement it. Make sure, whether it's supplementing with this or eating it in your nutrition plan, make sure you're getting it naturally and it's something that your body can absorb. And it's not just a false promise from a company that's doing great marketing and you're really not getting any of that benefit.
Absolutely. You want to tell us about elderberry?
I'll tell you about
Perfect.
elderberry.
Organic elderberry extract, by the way.
Yep. And it's one of the most commonly used medicinal plants in the world. Chances are at this point, you've heard about elderberry, especially with what's happened last year. Everybody's talking about elderberry. It was Native Americans who traditionally used it to treat infections. Ancient Egyptians used it to improve their complexions and heal burns. And it's still used across Europe by people doing natural folk medicine and things like that. I mean, it is very, very, very prevalent in the world today. It refers to several varieties of Sambucus tree, which has clusters of white flowers and black or blue-black berries, which I don't know about you, but it just sounds beautiful in my mind. The most common variety is Sambucus nigra, also known as European elderberry or black elderberry. Elderberry is most often taken as a supplement to treat cold and flu symptoms. It's high in antioxidants, which we talked about with the zinc and the Camu, so super important. It's also really good at fighting harmful bacteria. It inhibits the growth of bacteria, which we know there are good bacteria and bad bacteria, and it fights the bad bacteria in your body that you don't want growing there. And also just that really, really powerful support of the immune system, which is why we created this product. Elderberry polyphenols were found to support immune defense by increasing the number of white blood cells. So back to the conversation about healthy cells, you want healthy cells. Healthy cells are indicative of a healthy immune system. So, that is something that elderberry plays into. We saw that with zinc as well. So I just wanted to touch on those few things around elderberry because it is such a powerful ingredient in this product and something that I think is really important to have in your nutrition plan.
Absolutely. I mean, I learned a lot more about elderberry, quite frankly, after having my daughters and them catching colds and finding out what the best stuff was and stuff that was safe for kids to take. Not wanting to give them a bunch of over-the-counter other flu medicines and things like that or cold medicines. Elderberry came up a lot, and it's something that I give them often. And so it was a no-brainer in making sure that it went into this formulation. Now, we talked about being very proactive and yes, take a couple capsules per day to strengthen the immune system. Does that mean that if you start feeling symptoms that you shouldn't take more? I cannot give you that medical advice, but I can tell you what I do, right? And what works for me is, yes, I take it every day, but we've seen the studies that show that taking elderberry once you have symptoms can decrease the amount of time that you have those symptoms. We know that having zinc can decrease by 40%. So myself personally is what I do, not giving you any advice, is I would double up at those times. If I start, and I do the same thing with 7M. What am I thinking? And so I need more Aegis brain. So when I'm taking my 7M, but if I start feeling myself come down with anything, again, this isn't what we're offering here with our supplements isn't like this guarantee that once you take them, you're gonna be strong and never get sick again. It's good to get sick. It's good for your body to respond, to be able to fight off of these things. What I want to do is I want to give my body the nutrients it needs to help it do it. So just like 7M, I take my regular couple pills a day, but if I start feeling something come on, I double my dose there. The same thing with Immunity 3. The other thing that I do, and this is totally up to you for what you want to do, but what I do in my house is I give half a dose to my kids. So I open up the capsule, they're too young to swallow it, just one capsule each, and mix it in with their smoothie, with their organic greens drink, or with their bone broth protein, or just with the juice. Totally up to you on what you choose to do, but it's what I do here in my house for myself, for my girls. And yeah, I think this is a phenomenal supplement to have, especially with everything going on. And there was some pressure early on for us to put something out, but there's also part of having integrity, right? And making sure that we didn't just throw something together and throw it out to the market because the market was demanding it right away and we could make a quick buck. We really wanted to make sure that we put together the best quality product that we could. And for a time, it was hard to get some organic Camu. It was hard to secure enough of the organic elderberry extract.
Really hard to get it. Really,
I mean, you guys know how it is right now with just shipping things and being able to get a hold of different things. And so not only did we want to perfect our formulation, but we also wanted to make sure we secured enough ingredients to be able to have this long term. The other thing I want to talk about here is kind of the price point around Immunity 3. It's really important to us, especially right now, that we were able to put something out there that a lot of people could afford. I know a lot of our supplements are at the higher end of the spectrum. They simply have to be because of the quality of the ingredients. Immunity 3 is no different. The difference is we're just not going to make a whole bunch on it, but the goal is to help a lot more people get healthy till we get to the other side of the craziness that we're going in right now. Again, I'm not making any claims this is going to cure anything, prevent anything, or make up for any kind of vaccine or any craziness like that. All I'm saying is I think it'll have you be healthier and stronger. So we're doing it, and it's only like $38 a bottle for the single bottle. If you do the subscribe and save or buy multiple bottles, you can get it as little as $30 a month. So that's $1 a day, which I feel like we were really striving to get to that point on a price point level. We had to secure a certain amount of ingredients, a certain amount of stuff ahead of time to make sure we could do that. Because I think that this is something everybody should take every single day, and it's going to make a massive difference in how you feel. It's going to make a massive difference if you were to catch a cold or get a flu or any other virus that might be out there.
Absolutely. Yeah. And I want to come back to all important points. I want to come back to elderberry for just a second. So it's not the unsung hero of the podcast, because and talking about these ingredients, I just want to touch on a few other things around elderberry. We're going to have in the show notes some research around the common cold and some of the things that we found with elderberry because of people taking elderberry and reducing their time with the common cold. And especially where we're in that winter time of year for a lot of us, not all over the world, but for those of us who are in the winter time, and for those of you who will go into it later, the cold becomes more prevalent when things get cold. We're inside more, we're not out getting that sun and that, all those things that we need to stay healthy. I do want to just touch on something that we often touch on the podcast. While we love providing amazing, high quality, clean, pure supplements to you using organic ingredients wherever possible, it's just really important for us to educate you and to let you know that taking care of your body is the greatest gift you can give to yourself. To strengthen your immune system, we talked about this earlier, but I just want to drive these points home. And I am walking proof of the fact that a strong immune system leads to a healthier, happier life, getting better sleep, reducing your stress levels, whatever that is, taking a walk with your dog, meditating, deep breathing, spending time with people you love, putting your phone down and walking away. Our phones cause a lot of stress. Painting, if you love to paint, playing a song, if you play an instrument, get into those things that down regulate your emotions. Healthy nutrition for your body. And that looks different for all of us. We are not advocates of one way of eating. Rather, we really encourage you, especially when it comes to your immune system, there's so much you can do now to dial in what you need. Where are you deficient? Blood work. Where are you deficient? Where can you really fortify your immune system where you may be lacking things in your nutrition plan? Cutting back on sugar. Sugar is the number one killer of our immune system. Eating sugar in moderation, I think that's fine. I don't think eating sugar in everyday nutrition plans is wise. And also something that you could really spend some time educating yourself on is the labels. Sugar is being snuck into everything that we eat, and looking at the label really tells you how much is there. We even did a challenge as a team for 1 week, eat things that have less than 5 grams in sugar content in your foods, everything you eat. And it's just, if you did that one thing for yourself, it would make a massive difference. It's overwhelming to think like, how do I do all of these things at one time? As we mentioned before, what's one thing right now that you're struggling with the most? Is it sleep? Is it stress? Is it eating better foods every single day that really benefit your body? Is it maybe you're doing all those things and the next step is getting that supplementation in there with those vitamins and minerals that you need. Whatever it is, I think it's so important that we focus on our immune system, focus on our health as we kick off the new year. Again, I truly believe it's the greatest gift you can give to yourself for long-term happiness and health. And then also, as we shared on the podcast today, we're super excited to have put this product together for you as something that you can add into your regimen to really support your immune system long-term and be able to fight off those diseases, those infections, those things that try to invade your body. So this is a good time as we kick off a new year to put an increased focus and effort into living a happier, healthier, more fulfilling life.
Absolutely. We have a lot of resources for you at empoweringyouorganically.com. So we've done podcasts on how to sleep better. We've done several podcasts on stress. We've even done podcasts on the coronavirus and things you can do there. I mean, some quick tips, especially as I see that there's countries going back into lockdown again and things like that. I'll keep my personal opinion aside on that. But what I will say is if you're forced to stay inside, open up your windows, get some fresh air in. It's one of the best things that you can do right now. You need that fresh air and not have that same air circulating toxic, more and more toxic the longer it circulates. Open your windows, open your doors, get outside and get some sunlight. Somehow, even that sticking your head out the window, I don't know. Whatever you need to do, get some vitamin D, supplement with vitamin D as well right now. But anyway, we have a whole podcast about things you can do around coronavirus, the sleep, the stress, tons of podcasts around nutrition and different ways of eating and different ways to supplement to get what your body needs. So go to empoweringyouorganically.com and check out the library of different podcasts that we have there. Organixx.com, we have tons of articles in our health library. There's so much there that we want to give you and educate you on. And, if you feel inspired and want to try Immunity 3, try it. If not, at least go get educated and make other changes in your life that are going to get you to that next level of health. And the good news is once you've got that next level, there's another level and another level. And it's not a daunting, oh my gosh, there's more and more to do. It's an exciting place to be because as you get to each new level of health, you feel better and better, which increases the motivation, which increases all these other things, and your quality of life gets so much better that when you look back to this day, 3 years from now, you may not even recognize who you were or how you were living. So you don't have to wait for the first of the year to always make a change, but January certainly is a great time to make that change and a good motivator. So empoweringyouorganically.com, Organixx.com, everything you need there. Go check out Immunity 3. And that's all I got to say.
Happy New Year, everyone.
Thanks, everyone. Stay safe, stay healthy, and we will see you on the next podcast.